Shalom, all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Kakudash. It's your brother Elder Bishop Iathun back at you with another video. Shalom to the elect out there, the bonus to the apostles, and shalom to you brothers and sisters of the hopeful elect. So this is breaking news, This news was shared by the brother Zakar, the priest Zakar, out of the main camp. And Trump has just deployed the National Guard military across 19 states. And we saw this coming up from a mile away. The immigrant situation was a Trojan horse. And then the crime cleanup in Washington, D.C. was all a Trojan horse to get the military as a normal on the streets of America. So America is being militarized. A standing army right on American soil. Now, we're of course going to start off with a scripture because this is the doings of the elites who's the most high have given charge over this planet Earth. So we're going to go to we're going to go to Daniel. I think it's 4:17. Yep, this matter is by the decree of the watchers. So the watchers are who? The watchers are the prophets. The word prophet means what? To say before. So you say something before it happens. Pursuant to Amos 3:6, pursuant to Isaiah 42:9, the Most High has the prophets prophesy things before they come to pass, because what the prophets do is they watch. And they mainly watch for the prophecies and watch for the signs. And because of the prophecies and because of the spirit Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, we have been prophesying about the martial law, about the military takeover of America. And we have brought out how there were certain events, major events here on American soil that had happened, in which, in reaction as a solution to the chaos that ensued or that was caused by these events, the elites of the society had to pass certain laws. And these laws, little by little, eroded these so-called American rights. And now we have come to where we are seeing now, which is a militarized America. So it says, this is by the decree of the watchers and the demand by the word of the holy ones, to the intent that the living may know that the Most High Yahweh, and his son's name is Yahweh Shai, ruleth in the kingdom of men. And matter of fact, the rulership of this earth, of the universe, is really under Yahweh Shai's rule. The book of Colossians say that all things were created by him and for him. This is why every knee shall bow to him, because the Most High Yahweh has given his son Yahweh Shai this universe as an inheritance. And this is passed on to the elect and to the rest of Israel as joint heirs. Really the men. So it says that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men and giveth it to whomsoever he will, and setteth up over it the basis of men. Now, if you go to Apostle Gabar's channel, he just did a video about the basis of men. As a matter of fact, he was reading this scripture when the Spirit said, you know what? Trampoline off the scripture into this lesson right here. And the brother Zakar just so happened to send a video, which it meshes perfect together, because they're able to do things like this, like militarize really the planet, because there's embassies all over the planet. There's forts all over the planet of the U.S. because pursuant to, Job, that the earth is given to the hand of the wicked, all right, which is Esau, really the elites, which are all so-called Jews, Ashkenaz in the scriptures, which are the basis of men, meaning the lowest of the low, and they will do anything to get power. And now that they have power over the earth, they want power over you. Okay? The Most High owns man, but they want to own man. This is why they want to put the MOTB. And his militarization of America, of the American soil, is all a means to an end, which is the NWO. But in order to get the NWO in place, they have to get the world injected with the MOTB. So let's go back to the I gotta find this tab on the side here. Okay, hold on a second. Let's go back to the video. Damn, they did the whole lesson without the video. All right, so let's see what this is Fox, I believe, has to say. Hold on. Gotta get my setup. Okay.
President Trump's crime crackdown sweeping the nation. After deploying the National Guard to Washington, D.C., now the White House plans to extend its effort across 19 states, all with the goal of curbing crime and supporting immigration enforcement. We'll talk to Republican Congressman Pat Fallon in just a moment. Plus, an illegal alien accused of killing 3 people in a truck accident is due in court today. What he's facing as yet another illegal alien, Kilmar Abrego Garcia, was set free. And we're getting new details this morning on the raid of in the nation's capital. We begin at the White House just across the road, where the president wrapped up a fairly busy week, I think it's easy to say. Lucas Tomlinson joins us from the North Lawn. Hey, LT.
Good morning, Kevin. We just received some new numbers. Over 2,000 National Guardsmen are this morning patrolling the streets of Washington, D.C. This comes as the D.C. police force, we know, is over 800 cops short. And those National Guardsmen are coming from a number of states, part of President Trump's crackdown on crime here in the nation's capital. And yesterday in the White House, the president says they could be going to...
And the National Guard, if you've been paying attention to National Guard, is always put in place before something major happens. They're about to do something major. Remember when 9/11 happened, the National Guard just happened to be running a drill that morning. And then there was a major power outage in New York. The National Guard just happened to be in New Jersey practicing for a power outage. So every time there's a major event, now I'm pretty sure the incident that happened in Boston, you know what I'm talking about. I'm pretty sure if you Google it, there was a National Guard running some type of event, practice event. They always seem to be right where these events happen. There always happens to be a National Guard practicing for that very same event, and then it just it happens, right? So they're getting the National Guard in place in these prime locations, excuse me, and I believe through the Spirit that they're about to do something. And so they need the military right there, ready. And why are they able to do this? How are they able to do this? Again, because the Most High gave the power, this power, like we just read, to the basis of men. So the Most High gave the elites the power to be able to do this. And the way they're able to do this is through what? Their military. So if we go to scripture here, right? If we go to the book of Revelation, because I said this is all a means to an end, which is what the New World Order. Okay, Revelation 13. Let's start at. Man, you could go. I'm gonna go to the point because I'm trying to make this video concise. I want to put this on GMS on there, and there's a time limit on the videos I can do, since I'm growing a channel. I don't have 1,000 followers yet. So let's just go straight to the point. Verse 15. And he, and who's a he? The powers that be. of this current government. And he had the power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. So how does he have power? The elites, how do they have power to give life unto the image of the beast? The image of the beast is the New World Order. Okay? But they need to implant everybody with the MOTB in order to make that happen. So the power to give life, meaning they have this idea, the NWO, and in order to make it become a reality, the Most High gave them the power to do that. And how did he give them the power? Through their military. Through their military, they're able to enforce legislation, enforce laws in order to make this NWO come to pass. It's called draconian legislation. Now, if we go to the scripture here, also in Revelation. Now, notice all these scriptures are in the book of Revelation because we're in the end right now. This is the end of this man's society. So when they're about to bring things to a close, this is when they get more intense with their draconian legislation. Revelation 13:11, it says, "And I beheld another beast come out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon." So the way this government speaks, they speak as if this military force is for the betterment of America, is to wipe out crime, is to get rid of the immigrants. And you turn on the TV and you see a bunch of Jake being chased by the police, and the people are like, yeah, get him, get rid of the filth. But what they're doing, because this is what a dragon does, a dragon is a master of deception. A dragon is a master at lying. So they will inject you with poison and convince you that this is good for you. Case in point, the vaccinations, the vaccines is literal poison with dozens of chemicals in there that are not good for you, that are deterrent to your health, your physical health, your mental health. But people are convinced that is good for them, that is healthy. People actually think cereal is healthy because of the commercials. So that's a dragon. A dragon is able to do that. And he exercises all the power of the first beast before him, and it causes the earth and them that dwell therein to worship the first beast whose deadly wound was healed. Going back to the Roman Empire. The Roman Empire, same thing. They practice draconian legislation. Why do you think the nation of Israel was catching so much hell? Right? During the time of Yahushua, that's when Israel was at the peak of catching hell from the Roman Empire. It was peaking. And when Yahushua went back to the spirit world, then you had the Roman Jewish wars, as they call it, the expulsion of the Jews, and then slavery came, But what the Roman Empire practiced was draconian legislation. And since America is a Roman Empire in the reincarnation, they have perfected draconian legislation so much that the people think that is for their benefit. So, let me bring this out also, because this might not play the rest of the video, because I think you get the point, right? I want to bring something else that we speak about all the time. Ordo ab chaos is a Latin phrase meaning order out of chaos. It serves as a motto for the 33rd degree of the Scottish Rite of Freemasonry, symbolizing a spiritual or personal journey from confusion to harmony, and is also the title of the Norwegian black metal band. Okay, right. So confusion to harmony. In other words, you cause confusion, then you bring a solution. And this is how you introduce legislation. This is how you introduce draconian measures. This is how you are able to seduce people to accept the military on American soil. when really the so-called Constitution is supposed to protect people, right, for allowing the government to have a standing army. This is why Americans in the Constitution allows them to have the right to bear arms, really so they can protect themselves against the government. So let's see if there's any more meat in here. Let's play this. Anything?
The road where the president wrapped up a fairly busy week.
Patrolling the streets of Washington, D.C. This comes as the D.C. police force, we know, is over 800 cops short. And those National Guardsmen are coming from a number of states, part of President Trump's crackdown on crime here in the nation's capital. And yesterday in the White House, the president says they could be going to other cities in the future.
We're going to make our cities very, very safe. Chicago's a mess. You have an incompetent mayor, grossly incompetent.
Order Abkeo. Chicago's a mess. The mayor is incompetent. It's chaos. Here's a solution. We're going to send the National Guards.
And we'll straighten that one out probably next. So I think Chicago will be our next, and then we'll help with New York.
So Chicago and New York, Kevin. Now, for context, last year, the murder rate in D.C. was on par with Chicago and nearly 4 times higher than Los Angeles and nearly 6 times higher than New York, as you can see there. And you mentioned off the top, 1,700 National Guard members will be sent to 19 states. That's less than...
Yep. But then eventually they're going to bring in foreign soldiers because you can only use the American army to a certain limit here in American soil because, again, these are their friends, their families, people they went to high school with, you know. They got their mother-in-law, they got their sister-in-law, their brother-in-law, you know, their cousins, their nephews, and their nieces. And so, you know, there's going to be a point where they're not going to be able to use the American soldiers anymore, and they're going to bring in soldiers for hire. Gurkha troops and foreign contractors to do the job for them. You know, that's also in the book of the Apocrypha. But anyway, I think that's it, man. So Lord's will, this was edifying, and you brothers go to GMS On Air 3 and follow that channel. This went over 15 minutes, so I can't upload it there. I'm gonna have to upload it on Fire Cures Leprosy. But yeah, so Lord's will, this was edifying. I'm gonna say shalom, all praises to Yahweh, Bashim Yahushai, Bashim Kakadash, shalom.